Hi, this is Jennifer Ray, your host of The Pulse, and today we are at the Westonka Historical Museum, which is a first for me, and I have the pleasure of having Jeff Magnuson, who is the president of the Westonka Historical Society, with us to talk about this great place and a lot of activities that are coming up in support of it. So first of all, Jeff, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Thanks for letting us come and see this fabulous place, and a lot of fun stuff.
Yes, we do. We have exhibits on all kinds of different subjects of history in the Westonka area.
And I just learned when I came too, we actually have specific rooms for like Westonka and the Tonka toys and Andrew Sisters, quite a big display for that. And of course, Kevin Sorbo, and just so much history that even I am surprised, and I'm a history buff, so that's always a lot of fun. Now, I know that we have the Westonka Historical Society, and can you give us a little bit about the mission of that society?
Well, our mission is to preserve and communicate the history of the Westonka area, which encompasses a good chunk of the western part of Lake Minnetonka, as well as the surrounding communities of Minnetrista, parts of Orono, Spring Park, Minnetonka Beach, and of course, Mound.
And we've got a lot of programs coming up in support that people can, first of all, come visit here. When is the museum actually open for people to come take a look at this history?
Well, we're open every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we're also can open up by special appointments. And we also encourage tour groups to come in and make appointments during the week.
And I'm assuming, would that include school children? Would that be fun for them, I would think?
Most definitely. We, back in December, we had all the 6th grade classes come through for a tour at the museum.
Oh, very fun. Yeah, very fun. Learning about their own backyard. Mm-hmm. So Jeff, if you can highlight some of the treasures that are here, because we do have some large collections in certain areas. If you want to speak on that a moment.
Well, I'd have to say by far our most popular collection is the Tonka toy collection, which is up on the next level. And we have an extensive collection of toys that were made from the start of Mound Metalcraft in 1946 all the way right up until 1983 when they left Mound. And we have a resident expert there every Saturday, a former Tonka employee who will talk your ear off and tell you just about anything you'd want to know about Tonka toys. We also have a lot of interest in our research room. People come in asking about a particular house or cottage that they've purchased. Some genealogy, of course, checking out their family backgrounds here. We have quite a few files on early families. My favorite is probably the Native American burial mounds, which we have a kind of a unique 3D printed model of one of the burial mound sites, which actually had 69 separate Indian mounds over on the north side of Halstead's Bay.
Really?
Yep. And we've just recently now added an interactive computer display to go along with that, where you can actually take a look and see where a lot of the sites were located.
Well, isn't that interesting? That's something that I wasn't expecting to hear today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have some upcoming programs. So do you want to talk a little bit about the Back Channel Brewery and Lake Minnetonka Shores?
Sure. Well, we've been partnering for a long time with Lake Minnetonka Shores and Spring Park. And the second Saturday of every month, we hold a program in their chapel auditorium. And we've had some really great speakers come in and talk about a variety of subjects, mostly related to the history of this area. Coming up April 14th, we have Joe Kimball, who's going to talk about the secrets of the Congdon Mansion, which most people probably remember back in 1977, the infamous murder of Elizabeth Congdon up in Duluth. A lot of people may not remember that we have a connection to that case, and that Marjorie Caldwell for a while actually had a couple homes here in Mound, and turned out she did a little bit of arson and the homes were burned down, and she was arrested for that. Coming up on May 12th, we'll have Bill Swanson doing Stolen from the Garden, which is the story of the Piper kidnapping, another infamous crime actually happened in Orono, but it's close by, and I think that'll be an interesting talk on May 12th.
So Jeff, do you want to talk about the Back Channel Brewery, which was just built a year ago, and there's an event being held there this month?
That's correct. We have on April 17th, which is a Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we're going to have Dean Sather out to talk about the prehistory of the Lake Minnetonka and Twin Cities area. And Dean is an archaeologist. He's been out to give us programs or do programs for us at Lake Minnetonka Shores, and I think we had standing room only for him last time, so we're hoping for a really good turnout on the 17th. We started partnering with Back Channel Brewery in October doing our first program then. We had Bob Gash, and then we had a Tonka toy design presentation in January, and both were attended really, really well. So we're looking forward to having future programs with Back Channel, and at least once a quarter.
Well, they're right down the road here, so, you know, perfect.
Yep. And there's a
location.
great draw with the beer.
Yeah. And then we want to talk about the History Walk and Talk in collaboration with the Westonka Library, and that's coming up on June 9th. What exactly is that?
Okay, well, that'd be a new event for us. First time we're going to collaborate with the library to actually set up walking tours in Mound, and what we're going to do is set up separate stations where our members and volunteers will actually talk about the history of a certain corner or building or aspect of town, and so the people will walk from one station to another up between the library and the museum. So it should be kind of a neat event. It'll be a first time on that one.
And who would be attending that?
It's open to the public. Hopefully we'll have some good publicity out there and have some people for that.
Well, I hope that you have a really good turnout. And then we have a Minnetrista bus tour on June 12th and the historical boat tour during the Spirit of the Lakes. What can you share with us about that?
Again, these are both tours. I'll actually be the narrator for both of those as our plan at this point in time. The Minnetrista City Bus Tour, this will be the third annual, and they load up a bus open to the public, run around all over Minnetrista, checking out a lot of current and historical sites, and so that should be an interesting trip. And then we've been doing the Spirit of the Lakes boat tour sponsored by Alan Almas for a long time now. It's been several years. And we do about a 45-minute tour of the upper lake and point out all the historical sites from the lake. So it's kind of neat. You can see where the old hotels were and get a feel for how the lake used to be back in the 18 and early 1900s.
And are these events free? Is there a small donation?
I believe there is I believe you have to have a button for the historical boat tour.
So we get the button before we get on the
Spirit
bus
of the
or
Lakes.
on the boat.
That's correct.
Gotcha. And then there's a Treasures Unlimited fundraiser coming up in September.
This will be the second time that we'll do the Treasures Unlimited. We don't have the exact date set in September, but we again will be partnering with Lake Minnetonka Shores to hold the event there in Spring Park. And it's kind of like an Antiques Roadshow. We bring in appraisers who will take a look at items that the public brings in, their heirlooms, their antiques, whatever. And it's really fun because you learn a little bit about the object, and they'll make a good attempt to put a value on it. So it's pretty neat.
Well, that sounds really fun and very unique. I don't know if I've heard of one of those around this area before. You said it's a couple years going, so I must not have known about it in the past, but it sounds super cool.
We hope to have a better turnout this time.
Well, I hope you do too. But it would be really fun to grab something that's been in the attic or grandma's attic, and you just don't know what you might find.
Yep, there were a few surprises last time.
Anything you want to share with us or that you can recall?
Oh, I think one of the more interesting things, one of our relatives actually brought in a lunch box that was from Sweden from probably a good 200 years ago. And they were able to figure out what it was pretty fast and put a pretty nice value on it. So that was kind of fun for us since it was in our family.
Yeah, very fun. And then we've got a goal to increase membership by 10% this year.
Yep, we've set a number of goals for the society this year. And one of the main ones is increasing membership by at least 10%. And membership is really reasonable. It's only $20 for individual and $25 for a family. And you get one of the nicest, most comprehensive newsletters, I think, of any historical society put out in the Twin Cities. Every time we put out a newsletter, I read it, I learn something new. It's just amazing the great job that our people do on that.
Well, that sounds fun. And when we want to increase it by 10%, do we have a number that correlates with?
Well, we've got about 140 beginning of this year.
So it'd be really fantastic to add 20.
That's correct. Yep.
That would be terrific. And at $25,
it's a good deal.
That's a good deal. Now, other than the newsletter, do you get to come here for free? Or?
Yes, you get to visit the museum. We have a discount on some of our retail items. We got a lot of books and puzzles and other gift items that people can come in and take a look at.
Well, that sounds awesome. So I hope you meet that goal as well. And then we have open board position and critical need for volunteers. So what kind of volunteers are you looking for? I'm assuming the board positions are also volunteers. So what kind of talent are you hoping to acquire?
Well, the main thing is someone who wants to dedicate some time. Hopefully they have an interest in history, because that's the fun part of this, and really want to have somebody come in that would like to take on a specific responsibility, like oversee a certain committee, whether it's marketing or events or that type of thing. It's all strictly volunteer, so it's no pay, but you get a lot of fun, and there's a lot of great fun people to be with on this thing. And we just need general volunteers too, to help out with all the things that we do, whether it's here in the museum, doing inventory of our collections, manning the museum on Saturdays. I'm always looking for volunteers to help do that. Some days we get kind of busy, and it's hard for one person in here to handle the crowd.
Absolutely.
But we have lots of other things to work on, whether it's the newsletter, the events. We have a lot of events, as we mentioned. So a lot of opportunities for volunteers, and really would like to get some people involved this year.
So friendly, energetic people who want to get involved.
That's right.
That would be wonderful. And then last but not least, you received a grant.
Yes, we've received a grant from the Minnesota Historical Society's Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund to better manage our collections here in the museum. With the help of an outside consulting firm called Museology, we've been able to put together a formal procedure and policy manual and created all the forms so that we can now do a better job when we get donations to the museum. And our next step, we've completed that first step, so our next step will be actually doing the inventory, which will be a big job.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Is there anything else specifically that we want to share or invite people to come out on Saturdays between 10 and 2? And what is the cost to come visit and just take a look?
We ask for a donation of $3 per person, and every dollar helps keep us going here. We're a completely 100% nonprofit organization that depends on our fundraising and donations to keep the society going. So we appreciate any donations that we can get.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for your time.
Well,
Good luck with all of your
Jennifer.
goals.